Food inflation and general cost of living are increasingly making life more difficult for Nigerians ahead of the Eid al-Kabir celebration. Many families are pushed to the brink as they weigh between buying a Sallah ram or food commodities. But as it stands, the chances of addressing food shortages in the country are diminishing as terrorists clamp down on farmers, as evident in the recent killings of scores of farmers in Katsina and Borno states. On Daily Politics tonight, we ask the big question: how can we get what to eat if farmers are denied access to their farms amidst escalating food shortage in the country? You will have the opportunity to contribute to the conversation through a dedicated phone number to be displayed on your screen in a little later as the program unfolds. I'm Hamza Idris. Thank you for joining us on Daily Politics. To help dissect this issue, we have Jameelu Mohammed. He is an economic analyst and an author. Thank you very much for making it to the studio, Jameelu.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, viewers.
Viewers, to set the ball rolling, here are some tidbits. The Kano Federal High Court, or Federal High Court in Kano, has awarded a 10 million naira compensation to Emir of Kano, Ado Bayero, against the Kano State government for ordering his arrest and eviction from the Nasarawa Mini Palace. Justice Simon Amobeda delivered the judgment in the fundamental right enforcement suit filed by the deposed 15 Fulani Emir. The court held that it has jurisdiction to hear and entertain the matter, being a fundamental right enforcement application, stating that Ado Bayero has the liberty and legal right to move freely and live anywhere in Kano or elsewhere in Nigeria. And the All Progressive Congress in Edo State has petitioned the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Ebetukun, asking him to restrain the state governor, Godwin Obaseki, from using the state police command to arrest its chairman, Jared Tenebe, over trumped-up charges ahead of the September 24 governorship election in the state. In the petition dated June 13, the APC chairman in Edo State, Jared, said the plans is to arrest him on Friday during the party's inauguration of its governorship campaign council. The petition was copied to the chairman of the Senate Committee on Police Affairs as well as the chairman of the Police Service Commission. Once again, welcome to the program. We'll take a short break, and when we return, conversation commences. Don't go away. Welcome back. Jameelu, let's start with Kano. Another judge, awarded 10 million naira in damages to the post Emir Ado Bayero. Are you surprised with the way the whole matter in Kano is taking different shapes? Because it's not just one or two shapes.
Well, I'm not surprised, although I am disappointed.
Why are you disappointed?
That institution is not supposed to be disreputed. I think the institution has fallen into great disrepute.
Okay, the institution of the traditional...
The traditional institution itself. Otherwise, there won't be a situation where you have, let me put it, small politics going into a kind of destroy or attempt at destroying this very wonderful institution. I think it is the fault of the institution itself. The institution has refused to go with the times.
How do you mean the institution? I mean, you are referring to the traditional institution, Nigeria at large, or in
yes,
Kano?
No, in Nigeria. I'm talking about.
What is
Nigeria.
their fault?
You see, okay, let me give you a very small example.
Okay.
You have the first class emirs, right?
Yes.
The first class emirs are, let me put it, conventionally, as the convention is, they can easily be under the rule of a local government chairman. The local government chairman can tell a first class emir, don't move, and he won't move.
And you think that is actually an aberration?
Of course it is. It is. You see, as high as our presidency is, you can see how the Nigerian presidency respects the traditional institutions. But that is a kind of a past glory. We are living with that in a kind of a past glory arena.
But where did we get it wrong? Let me ask this question.
The world is changing. So the traditional institution is supposed to change with the world. You see, I think in the build-up to even our present 1999 constitution,
yes,
there was the constitutional conference, and the traditional institution was invited to come and give its own input about how it wants to be
seen,
yes,
and
represented in the constitution. The traditional institution came together and said no, they don't want a constitutional role.
What do they want then?
I don't know. I don't actually know what they want. They wanted just to be the way they are without reference to the constitution. From my own studies, I think someone wrongly advised them. They looked at what is obtainable in other places like Europe, even the Middle East, places like Oman, Saudi Arabia. They run monarchies, and their monarchies do not run with constitutions.
Are you saying, okay, for instance, let's take
England.
Why is it that the king is so powerful? The queen was equally extremely powerful.
The king is the head of state. That is how that structure is. That is why you have every prime minister going to now pay allegiance to the king.
And they visit him almost every fortnight.
Of course, you have to report every running of the state to the king.
Is it not ceremonial?
It is not. It is not ceremonial. I'm telling you, it's not ceremonial. People see it as ceremonial. Till today, it is the king that gives decrees. That's why they don't have a formal constitution. England does not have a formal constitution. What they have is the decree of the king.
Quietly,
and they have a convention. There's a convention, an understood convention, just like an MOU, let me put it that way.
Yes.
Just like an MOU and an understood agreement that this is how we want to be going. So the king is the head of the state, and that is how he will be issuing decrees. This is how this. But because their system is so robust and developed, the king does not interfere in very small...
He doesn't meddle.
He doesn't meddle in the running of the state.
But where can we place the allegation, Jameelu, that it was colonialism that bastardized the traditional institution, especially in Nigeria?
It is not colonialism. Colonialism, yes, came to fight with the traditional institution, but you must understand that colonialism did not only fight the traditional institution, it fought the whole Nigerian system. That was what colonialism did. Until today, we still have a kind of neo-colonialism fighting the Nigerian system. That is a different thing entirely.
But what do you think, finally, on this? What do you think, assuming they have constitutional role, will they have extra powers to influence decision, to influence good governance?
Of course, we run a constitutional government in Nigeria. So if they are given constitutional role, it is not for the politicians to come out and say, this is how we want the traditional institutions to be. It is themselves, the traditional, the traditional institution.
Would there not be friction between them? Maybe even at the local government level with councillors?
Between who and who?
Maybe the local government chairman and...
It is a constitutional issue. Once you put it in the constitution, if it is accepted that this is the role that these people should play in the constitution, where would you have... You see, a democratic setting like this, I don't think you would find that kind of scenario you are talking about. It is a kind of... We grew up, we came to meet this kind of institutions. In fact, Nigeria itself, pre-amalgamation, it was the traditional institution that was running all these regions.
That was why maybe we have the prison, you have the mosque,
of course, you have the palace,
and even the court.
The court. The king appoints everyone. And it is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. The whole of the history of Africa.
Okay, I'm tempted to ask whether Kano will ever recover from this shock.
It will.
Okay.
But it may take a very long time. You see, it's an intellectual issue as it is now. Let me tell you another thing that is playing out in Kano.
Yes. So that
it is a kind of transition between the old and the new. That's why you are having that friction. It is the old, the new trying to displace the old. That's just it.
We hope they have a rallying point for the benefit of the institution and for the benefit of
we
Kano
actually
people.
pray so.
In a minute, the happening in Edo State, fighting ahead of election. Why do you think the governor wants to permeate everywhere? He's rounding up his...
It's normal for governors to do that. Governors are the kings in
But
Nigeria.
why are they not learning lessons, Jameelu? We know that as we speak now, River State governor is having a running battle with the FCT.
We are still talking about, it is still a constitutional issue. Is the powers given to the governors by the Constitution? That's where we are having the problem. Our structure, you see, once I advocated, and I am still advocating. I'm advocating for a weak state system. We have to have a weak state system, a strong federal system, and a strong local government system, and a weak state system. At a point, the state may need, we may even need to eliminate the states. Of course, because development would have to go down to the roots.
You are coming with something very strange.
It is not strange.
Strong federal,
strong local government, weak states. Yes, these states are constituting, you see, gridlock to our development. The development does not go down. And you don't see the development in the states. Why? It is because of the powers given to the states. And unfortunately, our kind of, would I say, our polygamous system of government, where you have this one coming. You see, homogeneity in politics is not there. I agree, we are composed of different tribes, but there is a common culture. Let me tell you, over the world today, if you go to any place, you, Mr. Hamza Idris, if you go to any place in this world, immediately somebody looks at you like this, or immediately you do one or two things, somebody will say, this is a Nigerian.
Because of our abnormal behavior?
We have a common culture, generally in Nigeria, despite the fact that we have all these tribes, but wherever a Nigerian is in this world, he's very unique, and you would understand that this is a Nigerian.
Okay, finally, who would dismantle the powerful state apparatus?
A constitutional system.
Okay, they are doing it. Now, we hope that they get it right. Now, over to the business of the day. How many rams have you shared so far? Because we are saying that, especially the Muslim Ummah, they are now weighing between ram and what to eat.
Ask me if I am going to slaughter one.
Because I feel that you should slaughter Jameelu.
I feel so too, but I'm not sure if I'm going to.
Because of the high price.
Of course, because of the high price. Unfortunately, we have reached, you see, I don't know, the government officially would have to come out and tell us. I feel from the figures I have, from what I see, I think we have entered stagflation.
Stagflation?
Yes. I do not have the figures. The government would have to bring out the figures and then tell us and then define, agree, say we. Otherwise, you see, these rams are in the market.
Yes. Almost every corner.
The prices are high and people are not buying, and yet the prices are not coming down.
I'm really at a loss because all the corners around Abuja, you see the rams,
This is a principal identity of stagflation, where you have stagnated production, and people are not going to the market, and yet the prices are high. Why? When prices are high and people do not go to the market, normally the prices would come down.
Yes,
and then people will rise.
Using the economic forces of demand and supply. The higher the supply, the lower the price. Yeah.
But that is not, you see, most of our economic definitions seems not to be working. The other time I spoke about something in this studio. And I'm very happy to see that you have gotten even Professor, that Nasara professor.
Exactly, exactly.
He has echoed the same thing I said in this studio.
Yes, yes.
That all our monetary policy items are saturated. They are not working. So we have to go back to our fiscal policy items, you see. So, but we have not done that. So I think the issue is government has made a fundamental mistake, and government would have to come back and try to solve this very issue. The fact of removing this fuel subsidy without the shock absorbers, this is the principal issue. This is where some economists say we entered what they call cost-push inflation.
Okay.
Right? It's only one item, one commodity, which is energy, oil, fuel. That's the only thing that has changed the dynamics of our economics today.
Yeah.
Right? So that is where the issue is. Now, government, unfortunately, government has not come to sit down to look at the fundamentals of the issues of, say, some economists do not agree that there is something we call cost-push inflation. They say it's in theory, it does not happen. But some say it happens. I agree it happens because if, in the case of petrol in Nigeria, if you are removing petroleum subsidy, there should be an alternative commodity. I'm not talking about alternative for people to, an alternative commodity. In this case, since it is an energy issue, you are a kind of jacking the price. You bring something like CNG.
Okay, we'll come to talk on the alternatives and order, Jameelu. Thank you very much. We will open the line now. Yes, viewers, feel free and call using the telephone number that will be displayed on your screen to contribute on this all-important issue. It is now Sallah period, but rams, cows, camel, goat, everywhere, but people are not buying, and they are extremely expensive. Where did we get it wrong in Nigeria? It doesn't appear to be a festive period. Call and advise on what to do. We still have like 48 hours to Sallah. Over to you as we await your call. Now, Jameelu, you said the removal of the fuel subsidy. Of course, every other day, we keep maybe, trial and error of sort. The alternative they spoke to us about was CNG. They also spoke about EVs, right? Electric vehicles. But there are some who believe that we're actually setting the cat before the horse, because it is even easier to manage our oil resources compared to CNG or EV. For 60 years, we are unable to do this, and now we are jumping into something entirely different.
We have to jumpstart our economy.
Okay, then before you elaborate, we have Ahmed Ibrahim from Kano. He wants to contribute. Welcome to the program, Ahmed. Yeah, Ahmed, welcome.
Yes, how are you?
We are fine, we are fine. How is Kano?
Yeah, we thank God.
I hope there is peace going by court judgment and all that today.
Yes, we saw this thing, but the issue is that to our own understanding, there is no need to leave those traditional rulers to continue on this field. This constitution should not give them the right, because by going the history, when you look back to the history, you can able to know that those traditional rulers have their own peculiar problems that is affecting the people.
What are those problems?
Yes, there are a lot of problems, here and there. At least those traditional rulers at least contribute immensely in terms of this corruption and what have you, and godfatherism that is going on.
Ibrahim, many people believe that if traditional rulers have their role clearly defined in the constitution, the local government areas will have been functioning very well.
Yes, I know that, but the local government should give federal government should give the local government the autonomy But there's no need to give those traditional rulers this power.
Then what will you say about what is happening in UK and almost all European countries that have elements of traditional institutions? You can see how powerful they are.
Of course, we have different ideology and different set of people and different culture. You know, we Africans, we have different mindset that we used to see things the way they are. Unlike those Europeans ones, you know, they are educated and they are, you know, progressive people.
All right, thank you very much for your contribution on this. But what will you say on the high cost of RAM? People weighing options, whether to go for RAM, you know, to do the religious sacrifice, yes, or food.
Yes. You know, this hardship that we are in and the nature of our economy now it is. There's nothing we can just say. The only thing we just pray God to give us what we'll do. That's the only thing that I can say.
Have you bought your RAM?
Pardon?
Have you bought your RAM?
Yes, I do.
All right. Then please try and share it with your neighbors. Yes.
It cost me almost 300.
300,000?
Before I can able to.
300,000 for one?
Yes, 300,000.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Ibrahim. Ahmed, sorry, Ahmed. Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
He bought his own 300,000. And the minimum wage. Jameelu.
You see,
okay.
The last time we were talking about this minimum wage here,
yes,
you asked me what's my own view about the minimum wage. What's the figure I should give?
Yes.
I told you 120.
120.
See, yes. So somebody is talking about RAM now, 300,000. Of course, that's the average.
If he is a civil servant, maybe on grade level, let's say 8. Or 9, you know, the salary is not up to 100,000.
Of course,
you know, at the state level. Maybe he had to forfeit food and other basics for like 5 or 6 months to save
for this particular
to buy RAM.
See, this is one of the feeders of corruption in Nigeria.
Okay.
We do not have standard wages. We do not have adequate wages. You cannot give somebody peanuts and people are still living. And then you think corruption is not happening. How is it possible?
We're deceiving ourselves.
We are deceiving ourselves.
Okay, we have Shamaki from Nasarawa State, I guess. Shamaki, welcome to the program. You are the second caller today.
Yeah, good evening, Hamza, Idris and Jameelu in the studio.
Thank you very much for joining us, Shamaki. Have you bought your RAM?
In fact, I don't have money to buy because I'm working with the state government. I'm a teacher in my state, local government, Akwanga.
What about children? Have you started convincing them? Because the problem is not even the meat, but the agitation by children to see horns in their house and all that.
In fact, my children are just little, and then their problem is just to eat rice and whatever they have, or maybe chicken or meat. They can be able to be contented with it. You see, the truth of the matter is just one. In fact, in my local government, Akwanga.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there is no fresh tomato. Where are we heading to?
No fresh tomatoes in your local government.
People are agitating now.
No fresh tomatoes in the market.
No fresh tomato in the market, I'm telling you.
So then how do you do it? How do you cook?
We went for dry one.
The one that was saved
and the dry one is too cost. So you see, that is why the labor are agitating. They should increase salary for workers. Workers are going to be a bigger. I'm telling you, even because of a bank introduces loan to teachers in various states, I'm telling you, some people cannot even meet with their standards.
But Shamaki, instead of agitation for salary increase, don't you think Nigerians should begin to think of what Jameelu just said? Government should provide alternative, should find a way of bringing down cost of living. Because by the time you have, everything very expensive, no matter what you are paid, it's very unlikely if it will take care of your basic needs. Hello, Shamaki? Unfortunately, we lost Shamaki. So maybe you should answer this while I ask the other question as to, are we not really putting or setting the cart before the horse?
We are not.
For 60 years, Jameelu, why I'm saying this, for more than 60 years, we have the oil wells, we have the, the pipelines. We had at the time the depots. You had one in Adama Ayola, right? You had it in Gombe. You had it in Jos, in Mina, in Suleja. Here, I'm just trying, Kano. We had all these pipelines and all that we can take the fuel, from the Kaduna refinery, Port Harcourt refinery, and all that. You easily distribute. We don't have them now, and we are saying CNG. We need infrastructure to also get the CNG right.
We do. We really need infrastructure. You see, the issue is you have to understand that oil is never wealth.
What about CNG? Will it be wealth?
No.
Okay, then we have a caller, Yasir. Maybe I don't know whether we will agree with you today.
Okay.
Jameelu. Okay, Yasir, welcome to the program. He's calling from Katsina. Yes, Yasir.
Yeah, I'm Yasir Al-Bashir from Katsina State Football Local.
Happy to have you on the program. Have you bought your RAM?
Yeah, all this vote of intention is all about weak governance. Yeah, I'm on it. Initially, all these board of contentions were all have means, based on the weak governance we are having in Nigeria, the practice we have in terms of the leadership, the way the government neglects so many, process or institutions that to be having much concentration to regulate prices, to regulate and also bring something that will be enabled to, enlighten the entire public to be self-disciplined in also ramification, given as a guideline in terms of governance, in terms of the leadership that we are playing and so on. Because if a government can be able to withstand and mitigate a process that leads to weak governance, corruption, okay, and other what has been that we are having that is facing the entire nation and the economy at large, I definitely couldn't have been here because the government has, formed the habit of, always giving something in a paper, interpret so many things the way they think that will be suitable to the masses. And along the way, it cannot be able to yield a positive outcome because not be practiced and make it effective so that we can be enabled to see, we can be enabled to have, proper effectiveness when you do result. Okay. So government formed the habit of, giving all the necessary requirements on ground, but they cannot be able to monitor. They cannot be able to, evaluate. They cannot be able to see where we are going to adjust, where we are progressing or where we are declining. So the government itself has to be, a type of government or a type of system to be practiced in Nigeria. It has to be practiced with the educated people that are radical, people that are willing to serve the nation, that have the nation at heart. People that believe in one nation, people that are capable, not incapable people to lead the country. Because today, even in the system of the democracy we are playing, right from the grassroots politics we are playing, right from the party officials.
A lot of issues, Yasir. Yes, but before we let you go, yes, Yasir, I have this question for you. Hello?
Things.
Yes, Yasir. Yeah. Yes, I said before we let you go, I have this question for you. Are farmers going to their fields in Katsina?
Actually, it's not as it is.
And could this be a factor to the high cost of food commodities?
Yeah, actually, when you doesn't have availability of all requirement, definitely you don't expect to see something in affordable price. Because the practice we are doing now in terms of agriculture, things have been neglected, and it is something that the government is always fighting to see they have put things on ground. And I believe the process is not how it's supposed to be, because there has to be a more issue in terms of the security personnel, in terms of the grassroots. Let's, for example, let's say the native, the local government we are talking about has to give a requirement, a proper monetary, a proper chances that can be able to lead well, which they are going to put on ground to see that they enable more practice that can be able to eradicate all the problems.
All right. Yes, sir. Thank you very much for calling, and thank you for your contribution. Yes.
The watershed has to be.
All right. That was Yasser talking about weak government, talking about having maybe marketing board to regulate prices, talking about discipline in the system, and then talking about government officials actually reading books, believing that it will work. So what will you say? Just yesterday, I mean, day before, the World Bank said tightening,
the news of the economy
exactly
will not work. I said it here in this studio.
It's not the World Bank that said that we should remove fuel subsidy, we should remove electricity subsidy.
It is true. It is true that we should remove those subsidies. But what should we put in place? That is what I think.
Why didn't they advise that, look, Mr. Tinubu, do A, B, C, D, and then remove?
And if they advise, let me tell you, even if I am in government, if I happen to be the Nigerian president, it's not for the IMF to come and say, do A, B, C, D, and I will do everything A, B, C, D. If they tell me, do A, B, C, D, E, I may likely do A and B, and the other ones I will find a way. You see, why can't we look at our own peculiarities? We don't have to.
Was it that the president was scared to have done this, or it was the euphoria of, okay, I have the power?
Euphoria was there, I think, because you could not have made a policy announcement.
Some people say he also did it because he was looking for legitimacy. I don't know.
What was illegitimate about his government? There was nothing illegitimate about his government.
Other candidates, he got the least number.
Let me tell you, if we are talking about legitimacy, Nigeria's democracy itself, I will call it illegitimate. Why? Because look how many percentage. What's the percentage of people that went to vote compared to the registered voters, and compared to the Nigerian population?
Jameelu, we have a caller from your state, Taraba, in the person of Helen. Helen, welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning.
Good evening. We are welcome to Daily Politics.
Evening, sir.
Yes, we're happy having you.
Yes, sir. I want to say happy Sallah in advance to our Muslim faithful.
Ameen. Thank you.
And no matter the situation in the country, we will celebrate the Sallah.
Inshallah.
But I want to say that sometimes I find it difficult to even tune to some of our media channels, because the ruling elite has created a big gap between them and the poor. And they are not even ready to listen to the cry of the poor. So can't we do something else instead of sitting every day and talking to people who are not even ready to listen? Can we join the labor anytime they call us Nigerians to come out from every angle to protest for our rights? Should we keep talking to people who are not even ready to listen? As we are complaining that people are not able to buy rams, we have several of them that have bought up to 100, 200 rams in their houses. And they don't care to listen to what Nigerians are going through. We are tired of sitting down and talking. I think it is time for Nigerians to come out and act. And then talk to these people, because they can listen to us. We are the ones that gave them the power. So how long are we going to suffer? Recently now, some Nigerians cannot even eat even in a day. Insecurity is increasing because our youth are jobless and they don't have anything to do. So can't we come out and protest? Every Nigerian, we can mobilize every Nigerian, come out and protest. Make these people, they cannot roll out.
Yes, Helen, protest is legitimate in Nigeria, but not a violent one. And I hope you are advocating for violent-free protest. Could that be correct?
Yes, sir. That is what I'm advocating for.
And I can see Jameelu nodding his head here in the studio in agreement with what you are saying. So you think they no longer listen, so Nigerians should just do stage positive and violent-free protest?
Yes, sir. That is what I'm advocating for.
Okay, are farmers going to their farmlands in Taraba?
Sir?
I say farmers, are they going to the farmlands? Because I know the rains have started in Taraba.
Yes, the rain have started. Some of the security-free area have gone back to the farm, but some people cannot still go back to the farm because there's insecurity everywhere.
Oh my God. Okay, we pray that there will be security everywhere, because the more we have the food, the likelihood of the price is coming down. Thank you very much for calling.
Yeah, and that is one of the reasons why we have food scarcity, because most of the communities that are producing some of these food crops cannot go to their farm anymore. There is insecurity, there is hunger, high cost of living. How do we survive?
Very sad. Big question from you. Thank you very much for calling. We have to have you some other time. Okay, Jameelu.
You see, I think we have, I don't want to be a doomsday soothsayer, but let me say that hard times will still be ahead of us.
May it not be correct?
I pray so.
Prediction, yes.
I pray so. But let us look at what is happening. Now we are talking about governmental issues, governmental failures. But do you know these things have transcended to practical issues like climate? We have not even addressed that. Let me give you an example. This year, the rains have not stabilized until late last month.
But in Kano, they don't even have the rains in Kano.
That is the issue. That's what I'm trying to bring. Even the earliest rains we have in Nigeria would be around Mambila Plateau, then Jos Plateau, Obudu, around those areas. On the Mambila Plateau, up till May, the rains did not stabilize.
Before, like 5, 6, 10 years back, it's
not 5, 6, 10 years. Even 4, 3, 4, 5 years ago. You see, on the Mambila Plateau, normally the rains set in around ending of February.
Ending of February.
Ending of February.
And now we
because
are June.
We normally have 8 months rainy season, 4 months dry season. That's what we have there.
8 months.
8 months rainy season. That's what we usually have. Okay, the rains did not set in, did not even come in February, did not come in March until around April. You know, in late March, it started maybe once, twice. People ran to the farm, planted, and the rains disappeared. So what they planted got perished. People planted twice and it perished.
In Mambila Plateau?
Yes. People planted twice and it perished before the rain started to stabilize. So this is a pointer to the fact that next year we would still have shortages of food. And then people like you will start talking about importing foodstuff, which
but people have been, advocating for that. I
am not an advocate of that.
Okay, we have Emmanuel.
That I cannot feed myself. I have to go to my neighbor.
All right, we have Emmanuel from Benue State. Maybe he will disagree with you and advocate that we should import food to mitigate hunger in the country. Emmanuel, welcome to the program. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Emmanuel. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, let's hear you.
Good evening. I'm calling from Kogi State.
Oh, from Kogi. Okay, welcome.
I'm calling from Kogi State.
Okay, you are welcome.
All right. All I just want to say is that Nigeria really need intervention.
From where?
We need prayer, serious prayer.
Okay.
Everything is hard in Nigeria. But that is all I just want to say.
But do you think prayer alone will do the magic? Because God says that wake up, work hard, pray, I will help you. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I said God says that you have to wake up, you have to work hard, and then pray very well, then He will help you. If you lay in your room, sleep, and all that waiting for magic to happen, I'm sorry. Anyway, are people going to the farmlands in Kogi?
Hello?
Yes, it's like we have connectivity problem, Emmanuel.
Hello?
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 Please try and call back. he has resorted to faith that we should just pray. But please, I want us to discuss the earlier issue I raised on why are we not harnessing the oil resources? We are now moving. Of course, gas is also part of it, but
the world has moved ahead.
But we didn't get where the world has left. We didn't get it right.
But it is not a precondition that we must stop there before reaching the... we have to jumpstart. It's not a precondition.
How can we jumpstart? We did a story, Jameelu, here in Daily Trust, that you know when they said they will roll out the CNGs and all that, we did a thorough investigation. You know, many states, over 20 or nearly 30, they don't even have conversion centers for the...
Let me tell you, the government will not do that. We need wholly something like 70% private sector participation. That's how this thing will run.
Okay.
If we are waiting for government to do the 70% and private sector 30%, it will fail.
Okay, we have Mohammed from Adamawa, Jameelu. Mohammed, welcome to the program. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good evening, Mohammed. Welcome to the program, and let's hear you.
Well, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, what I want to contribute on this issue is this.
Okay.
We are mindful of the climate change, and also the high cost of food commodities and whatever in particular. But if the government and the well-to-do can be proactive at this stage to provide security to farmers and also to engage traditional rulers in providing security at the farm areas, and the government to give support to farmers by providing fertilizer at the right time, improve seedlings, the seed and what have you, and also to encourage the youth to go back to farms. I think the problems can be addressed, at least, if not fully, but we can attain certain level of providing foods so that we can be less dependent on the importing food, or people staying without something to eat.
Okay.
So that is my advice on this type of issue, because it's not late. Some areas, as the other men have said, they are just planning to start planting.
Yes.
So let the government come in at this time, and involving local vigilante in the villages where there is farms, it will help us.
All right. Thank you very much, Mohammed, for calling and for your contributions. Yeah. I think his points are germane, right?
They are.
Of course. He said, of course, we are all mindful of the climate change. But he called on government. He said, let's secure the farmlands, provide the necessary inputs, empower vigilantes and security operatives so that people can go and farm. I think this is actually a very simple prescription for
it
me.
Is, and it is a palliative issue. And I normally dislike palliative issues because we've been palliating in this country for 56 years.
No, it's not saying that we should share the food that
when I say palliative, that's not what I mean. I'm not talking about food palliative. Even the security, there are palliative issues there. There are solutions you bring just to a kind of bring down something a bit, and then, but the problem will still be there. You see, mitigate. You are mitigating only for.
What will be the final solution to it?
Security issue in this country.
Okay, as you rightly mentioned.
Yes, I've come to learn that our security issue is strictly not security. We have economic and we have social. If we can solve our social and economic problems, definitely they will themselves solve about 60 to 70% of our security issues. Then now the rest, the security agencies would go in and...
But you have to start somewhere, as Mohammed said.
This is how we are starting.
There must be food on the table.
You see, there must be food. How? Maybe if you say there must be food, people are eating, the people were used to 3 square meals.
Now,
well, they have to be maybe 1 meal, then now you prepare for getting the second one. After some time, food will become 2 square meals on the table, let me put it that way. Then you start, we see, it's like our vehicle has totally broken down.
So we have to start rebuilding.
We have to start from scratch. And it is not late that if we start from scratch, we can jumpstart our economy.
But people believe that it is guesswork, or, that is happening in Nigeria. What will you advise? You
see, one fundamental issue, I think Mr. Mohammed and the last caller, the second to the last caller, Emmanuel, they brought up this issue. You see, and the woman from Taraba, Helen, when she spoke about protest, our fundamental problem is, you see, even if we protest, even if all of us come out, we are not even supposed to come out. Where is our middle class? The middle
it has been wiped out.
That is the issue. So it is the middle class that is supposed to fight this fight. It's not about everybody coming out
the semi-middle class is the labor,
and it's also in shambles. The labor too is in shambles. So the problem is our middle class. The middle class is supposed to interface between the poor and then the leaders. But the middle class is not there. That's why we are facing this problem.
So finally, because we have come to the end of the program, what should Tinubu do to jumpstart the economy?
I said, the last time I said, education priority. Education, then iron and steel, then electricity power. You see, there is no magic.
All right.
There's no magic.
All right. He has to do those things.
He has to do those things.
All right, Jameelu Mohammed, thank you very much for coming to the program and for helping me to anchor and answer some of the questions raised by our callers. We have to have you some other time. And we thank Ahmed, Shamaki, Yasir, Helen, Emmanuel, and Mohammed who succeeded in calling. And we also thank those who attempted to call but could not do that. And that's a wrap on today's package. We hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. And be sure to join Daily Politics airing every weekday and our special package on Friday, during which we open the telephone line for you to comment on national issues as we did today. This is wishing our Muslim brothers happy Eid al-Kabir and those in Saudi Arabia a meaningful and fruitful Arafat. Bye-bye for now. I'm Hamza Idris.